Good morning and welcome to the Planning Hearing Officers Hearing for October 15, 2014. My name is Eric Krause and I will be conducting the hearing as hearing officer. We have two cases today and the relevant exhibits are posted on the panels located directly behind me. The cases involve a variance for height associated with an unmanned radio facility and a parking use permit associated with an existing restaurant. Under the provisions of Title 30, Chapter 3043 of the Glendale Municipal Code, a variance shall be granted if four required findings are present. And then in terms of the parking use permit, under the provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30.51 of the Glendale Municipal Code, a parking use permit shall be granted only if the review authority can make the findings of fact. A discussion of the required findings of both the variance and parking use permit are included in the relevant staff reports made available prior to the hearing. If the evidence presented in the application at the hearing meets the criteria, then the planning hearing officer can either approve or impose conditions for approval on the case in question. If the findings of facts are not evident, then the request will be denied. Notification of this hearing was accomplished by the use of public notices, which are mailed to property owners and occupants located within 500 feet of the subject properties, physically posted on the site in question and placed in the local newspaper. The hearing will proceed as follows. I'll read the description of the requested entitlements. The case planner will make a brief overview of the case, give an analysis, and make a recommendation. The applicant will be asked to come forward stating both name and address and will be asked to present case within a 15-minute time limit. Others in support or in opposition to the application and interested parties will be asked to come forward and speak stating both name and address within a 3-minute time limit. Lastly, the applicant will be given the opportunity to make closing comments if desired in response to testimonies given by preceding speakers, and that is a 5-minute time limit. Then the hearing will be closed and the cases will be taken under submission. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice either by speaking at this hearing or by submitting written responses and have provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter. Under the appeal provisions of Title 30, Chapter 3062 of Glendale Municipal Code, the decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the date of the decision. Anyone wishing to appeal may obtain forms and brochures on the procedures from the Permit Services Center, which is located in this building in Room 101. If you wish to speak, please write your name and address on one of the speaker forms, which have been provided at the front door, and submit to our planning assistant, Vista. I would like to also inform everyone that the official proceedings of the hearing are being recorded as part of the public record. Our first case today is located at 403 South Central Avenue. It's variance case number PVAR 1413371. The applicant is PTS for Sirius XM Radio. Chris Bagdikian is the case planner. It's an application for a variance application to allow proposed antennas to exceed the allowable height of 50 feet in the zone. The proposal is to allow the modification of an existing rooftop unmanned facility, replacing one existing panel antenna with two Omni antennas, adding one dish antenna and replacing one existing equipment cabinet. The equipment cabinet is located within an equipment room inside the building. The zoning is C3 in the Height District 1. Its lot is described as Lot 5, Block B in the Glendale Valley Tract. Environmental recommendation is a Class 1 existing facilities exemption. Mr. Bagdikian.
Yes, Mr. Krause. This proposal is a variance application for Sirius XM satellite radio. Currently, Sirius XM satellite radio has an existing facility on the roof of the building consisting of antennas and equipment. Because Sirius XM is proposing some modifications to the existing facility, and because the building already exceeds height, the variance application is necessary for review. In a nutshell, Sirius XM is proposing to place two new antennas on the penthouse of the building. They will have the appearance of two long rods. One of these rods is to replace an existing antenna on the penthouse, and there's going to be one additional antenna consisting of a dish of approximately 26 inch in diameter, and there will be some replacement of equipment cabinets currently located inside the building. The building is a commercial building and is located in a commercial zone. The building height limitation in the zone is 50 feet, but the building currently exceeds that height and is built at 90 feet in height, and that's the penthouse.
Is that, yeah. If you could, please, thank you.
Okay. So the building was built in the early 1920s and is currently listed as a historic building. It's a historic resource. A similar facility was proposed recently by Verizon Wireless, and that was for a wireless telecommunication facility on the roof of the building. That consisted of 12 antennas and equipment cabinets, which were going to be visible from the surrounding streets. That facility was presented to the Historic Preservation Commission, and the Historic Preservation Commission recommended approval of that facility to the Planning Commission, which in turn approved the project. Since this proposal is substantially less conspicuous and less substantial in nature compared to that Verizon Wireless facility, staff felt that the proposal for SiriusXM could be exempted from review by the Historic Preservation Commission. And this is in the staff report. With respect to the rest of the application, staff feels that the findings can be made for the variance, and staff is recommending approval of the proposal. So in essence, it's two pole-type antennas, one of which is a replacement, and a new 26-inch diameter dish antenna on the roof. With respect to the recommended conditions of approval, all of the conditions are standard conditions. The last condition sets an expiration date of 10 years, which is typical to these types of applications. Staff feels comfortable, though, if the hearing officer wishes to extend that 10-year limitation. Staff is in favor of that, or even eliminating that condition entirely. So based on this, I would like to conclude my presentation and turn it over to the applicant. The plans are posted on the board. The photo simulations are on the boards. And I would like to conclude my presentation unless there are questions. Oh, one other thing, please. We received one comment electronically, and that's in the file. And the applicant has a copy of the comment. And this was a comment in opposition to the proposal.
Thank you very much. I do have one speaker card. I believe it's the applicant, Tiffany McClurg. You can please kind of go through the required findings and state why you believe the variance should be approved.
Yes. My name is Tiffany McClurg. I'm with Pacific Telecom Services, 506 2nd Avenue, Suite 210 in Seattle, Washington. So as Mr. Begdikian stated, SiriusXM proposes to replace one existing antenna with a new Omni antenna. They also wish to add one additional Omni antenna, side-mounted to the existing penthouse, extending above the penthouse. These Omni antennas are approximately 2¼ inches wide and will be pole-mounted to the side as our photosims indicate. They also propose to add one small satellite dish, also side-mounted to the penthouse, but at a lower level. Also can be seen on the photosims. The findings in the variance state that No unnecessary hardship will be caused by this proposal. We agree with that. There are exceptional circumstances or conditions applicable to this property because of the existing height of the building that already exceeds the height limit in this zone. Any installation on this building on the roof would automatically exceed the height limit. That is not a hardship that SiriusXM is causing. The granting of this variance will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare. As Mr. Bagdikian already expressed, SiriusXM has had a site functioning on this rooftop for many years and has proven to not cause any hardship or injurious to the property or detrimental to the public welfare. So we agree with that finding. And this proposal is consistent with the objectives of the ordinance as well. SiriusXM agrees to all of the conditions that are listed. If there is a time limit, the condition number 11, that the authorization granted herein shall be valid for a period of 10 years, at which time reapplication must be made. SiriusXM would like to ask that condition be removed. However, if it will cause us to not be approved, we'll agree to it. Just our preference to not have to come back in. All of the new equipment and existing equipment will be painted to match the exact paint color of the penthouse. I believe it's a historic color, and we will make sure that we do a paint match exactly to the current color of the building.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
I just had a couple minor questions. Yeah. In terms of because you have right now, I guess you're calling these Omni antennas. Is that what's actually the equipment that's on the extensions, or? That's
correct. So there is a mounting pole that is actually mounted to the side of the penthouse, and then the Omni antenna itself would be attached to that pole. I'm sorry to make. Oh, I was just going to say our construction drawings will outline that exactly how that's attached.
It looks like it's actually those Omni antennas are smaller than the antennas that are on there now.
That's correct. Yes.
In terms of the height, I mean, are you extending the mounting? I guess the mounting antennas, are those going to be at the same height than what's out there today?
So the existing antenna, I don't know that I have that exact height. Excuse me. No, so the existing height of the antenna is 100 feet, 3 inches above grade. And the new antennas will not exceed that overall height. Okay. So they'll be mounted, if they're a little bit longer, they'll be mounted a little bit lower, so not to exceed that.
So the Omni antennas would be attached, that wouldn't be higher than those?
Exactly. We're not going to exceed the existing antenna height, even though they're being replaced.
Okay, that's all the questions I had. Does staff have anything else they'd like to add?
I just would like to add one little thing on the plans, page ZD3. There's a depiction of the existing antenna that's extending beyond the penthouse. That's on the right side of the graphic, of the page. Mm-hmm. And then the proposed are on the left side, and the elevations are called out to be the same. So the existing and the proposed will have the same overall elevation.
Okay. Good. Thank you. I don't have any speaker cards at this point, other than the applicant. So I don't know if there's anything else you wish to add at this point, or.
I would like to request that our application be approved immediately.
That's fast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
I'm going to close the hearing on this case, or just close this one, and then we'll get going on our second case on the agenda today. Thank you very much. So currently, I don't know if there's any other speaker cards right now for this case number 2. I only have one at the moment. So if anyone else wishes to speak, please. There they are. All right. All right. So our second case on the agenda today is located at 315 and 317 West Lexington Drive. That's parking use permit case number PUP 1419225. The applicant is R. Calafian, and the Milka is the case planner, Milka Toledo. It's an application for a parking use permit to allow construction of a new 48-space parking lot to be used as off-site parking for Phoenicia Restaurant, which is located at 343 North Central Avenue and the parking lot will be located in the R1250 PS overlay zone. Lots are 19 and 20 and track number 253. The new lot will take the place of the previously approved off-site parking lot located at 319 North Central Avenue. So at this point, I'm going to ask Milka Toledo to give up her report, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kraus. As you stated, the location for this project is at 315 and 317 West Lexington Drive. The project proposal is a parking use permit. And just to give you a little history on the project, the existing full-service restaurant, which is Phoenicia, is located at 343 North Central. It is located in the DSP TD zone. The applicant is proposing a new off-site parking location which replaces the former off-site parking location at 319 South Central, which is approximately a block south from the restaurant. The new off-site parking is located at 315 through 317 West Lexington, which is across the street from the restaurant. No changes are proposed to the existing 12 off-site parking space parking lot located at 310 West Lexington, which is directly abutting the site, meaning the restaurant, to the west. The lots are zone R1250 with a PS overlay, which means that parking lots are permitted in this zone. The new off-site parking location is vacant. It consists of 2 lots, approximately 16,646 square feet, and the applicant is proposing to improve the property by providing new paving and introducing 48 striped parking spaces, including 5 tandem, and proposing new landscaping along the entire street front, setback, and parallel to the street. 2 planter areas are also introduced in the parking lot design, and access to the lot will be from the existing alley to the east. Although the landscape is included in the design of the parking lot, it doesn't fully meet or comply with zoning code, so they have applied for an administrative exception request, which is handled administratively for not providing completely the entire required landscaping, and that's currently being processed. Also, just to note, the previous parking reduction permit use was granted for Phoenicia Restaurant required a total of 43 parking spaces. The off-site parking located at 310 West Lexington, which is, again, abutting the restaurant to the west, was granted a parking use permit with 12 parking spaces. The remaining 31 required spaces were proposed and granted through a parking use permit at 319 North Central, which, again, is south of the restaurant, on the corner of Myrtle and Central Avenue, which is the Glendale Unified School District site. However, this location is no longer available due to an approved mixed-use project development that's going in. The applicant is proposing to maintain the existing 12 off-site parking spaces at 310 West Lexington, and they are proposing to replace the 319 North Central Avenue by proposing the new 48 parking spaces at the new location at the 315 through 317 West Lexington. This location is approximately 380 feet northwest of the restaurant compared to the previous site, which was located approximately 435 feet to the south, meaning south of Phoenicia Restaurant at the 319 North Central Avenue location. Staff is recommending approval for the project. The applicant is proposing valet service, which will provide the service for the restaurant patrons and self-parking, and also parking for employees. Again, the primary function of the new parking lot is to provide parking for the valet service vehicles. The findings are included in your staff report, and again, staff is recommending approval based on the findings included in your staff report. We did receive a letter in opposition from Ms. Rima Hagobian, and also she included some video clips that she is requested to be included as part of the public record, and she will be referencing them in her presentation. If there are any questions for staff, I am available, but that would conclude my presentation.
I did have one question. In terms of the number of parking spaces that were required for the expansion, that was 30, how many?
Well, they required 43 total. So 12 are being proposed at the directly abutting the restaurant to the west. I believe it's the 319 West Lexington location, or excuse me, 310 West Lexington. And then the remaining would be 31, which they're now providing at the new location across the street at the 315, 317 West Lexington, but they're actually proposing a surplus because they're providing 48 with the tandem spaces.
And outside of the tandem, those other 43 spaces, I guess if there's 5 tandem, meet the code requirements in terms of...
Correct.
Okay.
And again, the parking plan is behind you, so they've included dimensions and circulation pattern for the ingress and egress from the alley.
Okay. Thank you very much. I have 2 cards, one from the owner and one from the architect. So I do want to have the applicant come forward and determine I'm not sure who's going to be speaking on behalf of the applicant, but you have 15 minutes.
Good morning, Mr. Kraus. I'm Aram Alajejian. I'm the architect of the project. We'll be representing the owner, Ara Kalfayan, here. If he needs to speak, probably he will do it later. For the record, my address is 320 Arden Avenue, City of Glendale, Suite 120 there. I'm in the City of Glendale. Just a little bit background here. The restaurant, Phoenicia Restaurant, was established in 1978. It was a small restaurant in Glendale, which is, to me, it's a success story because it's started with a small 2 to 3 employees and has grown to become a major restaurant in city of Glendale, which attracts customers from all over the greater Los Angeles area. To owner's credit, I would say that right now, currently, he has about 30 to 35 employees that work in this restaurant. He provides jobs in the city of Glendale, and most of those employees live locally, and the restaurant is a great support for those families. Now, restaurant has been recognized throughout the Los Angeles as in a Zagat rating, one of the best restaurants. It was known for its wine and services. It's been an integral part of this community, and as you can see, got a lot of supporters that support this restaurant. Now, the restaurant is sitting on a commercial property. Milka has made a very good presentation of showing where the restaurant is. It's in a DSP in a commercial zone, and the existing parking referred to. It's right adjacent to the restaurant, and it's a part of the restaurant, so that 12 parking spaces is a part of the restaurant. Now, currently, we have off-site parking, which is the school district. We belong to the school district to the point that the school district decided to sell the property. We had 43 parking spaces, which was in a greater travel distance for the valet or for the people to park down there. Now, what we are providing, finally, we succeeded to get this parking lot, which is vacant Actually, it's open dirt area, as you can see it in the pictures. Vacant lot, which is designated as a parking overlay zone. Right behind is a big parking structure, and across is the Phoenicia restaurant. Across from that, I mean, you can rotate around so you can see it's a right across from our parking lot and from the Phoenicia restaurant. So the access to this proposed parking area, which we were basically going to improve. This is the restaurant as you see it, and then parking belongs to the restaurant. It's tied in with the restaurant use. Now across is the alley, which from left of the alley is the proposed parking lot area. Now we're proposing to have 48 parking spaces there. We only need to provide 31 parking spaces as per code requires to have. But we're providing 12 over and above, and plus another 5 tandem spaces. So this is a major improvement for the restaurant, and I think this would work in betterment of the circulation and for the valet parking. This is my presentation right now. I would like to reserve a time, and there are many speakers, I understand, and I would like to reserve it for rebuttal. If there's any questions for me, I would like to answer them.
Have you kind of taken a look at the staff's findings and stuff like that? Because I don't know if you can quickly go through some of the findings of facts that are required.
Okay, you can ask me those, and I will be happy to answer them. There's one findings that had to do with oak tree on the property that we would be accommodating that. Oak tree are showing on the plan. You can see it. So we're basically going to maintain the oak trees and being away from a drip line as it will require.
In terms of the employees, you said you had 32 to 35?
Yes, 30 employees right now, and time to time, when service is required, it will grow up to 35.
Okay, but are they on site at all times? I mean,
most of the time, yes, as I understood, yeah.
So what are the hours of the restaurant?
I believe from 8 a.m. to there are different hours. I think weekdays are 8 a.m. to. I think Ara would answer that. Where's Ara? 8 to 11? 11. Yeah, 8 to 11, and then weekends are up to 2 a.m. No? It's 12.
Hey, if we can hold it, maybe Ara can come up and...
Ara, can you come up and...
Real quick?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the hours of operation. Sorry about that.
You can please state your name, record, please.
Yeah.
Ara Kalfayan at 343 North Central Avenue, Glendale. As far as employees and in hours of the restaurant, it's 11 till 12 during the week, and then 11 till 2 a.m. over the weekend.
So 12, you mean 12 in the morning, right? 12 a.m. from the...
11 a.m. Till 12 midnight.
Okay.
And then weekends, 11 a.m. till 2 a.m. And as far as employees, at one time, not all of them work at the same time. We have different shifts.
Yeah, okay. Do you have like a couple shifts then? Or?
Yes, we have 2-3 shifts.
So now, in terms of the valet service, that's kind of like a benefit to the restaurant patrons. That's not something you guys would...
It's a convenience for them, yes.
That's not something you would require by code at this point. So.
No, the code.
Okay. Do you guys have anything else? I know you still got some time left.
No, we'll reserve our time.
Okay. All right, so at this point, I'm going to start calling up some of the speakers. Everyone, I have quite a few, so I'm going to maintain the 3-minute time limit for the speaker cards to make sure we can try to get through these in a timely fashion. Our first speaker is Rima Hagopian. If you can please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning. Rima Hagopian, 328 West Lexington, Unit 1, Glendale. Mr. Krause, first of all, I'd like to go on record to make a correction. It's not Phoenicia Restaurant, it's Phoenicia Banquet Hall. Somehow, the restaurant/banquet hall, the owner has gone around and made additions to the original restaurant, built a banquet hall. So there were certain ordinances that were not honored as far as parking. So while he builds a 500 facility banquet hall and runs as a banquet hall, he has not added any parking, on-site parking. So he's basically gotten away with certain way of dodging the reality, which is a banquet hall that he's running, not a restaurant. And I know there's certain things, ordinances that allows, by having the top roof open as a sitting area, when in reality it's a banquet hall. So I'd like to state that first. Second of all, even though we know that we can't enforce whether the parking is used as a valet or self-park, we're basically saying Lexington Street is primarily a residential street, and already we have a lot of issues, one of which is a lot of traffic, chaos in the way that hundreds of people that are coming into Lexington. So many evenings, there's concerns when there are double parking and the patrons, the guests of the banquet hall, are jammed up in line for valet to basically take their cars. So we're saying we don't want valet on Lexington, even if it's coming through the alley. If for some reason the parking lot is granted, it should be allowed as a self-park. And if they're providing as a service to the patrons of the banquet hall, then people should be able to park their cars instead of valet running across the street or creating havoc in the alley or on Lexington. We have few video clips that we've taken as to how they're currently running their valet, and I know with the additional parking they may change that, but still, for last year and a half, in some of the things that we have seen as one of the residents and many others that will agree with me, a lot of things are happening that is not appropriate for a residential street. So if Milka would please show those video clips. Appreciate that.
Look at the traffic.
Oh, okay. So here are some clips that you can see how they're running the operation. Alley, U-turning, cars coming out of the alley, making U-turns, double parking, valet guys, people running across the street to get into their cars. Here's cars going around double parked cars.
Okay, if I can get you to wrap up, because unfortunately, got through your 3 minutes pretty quick. So.
Okay, I'm pretty much done. So we're basically saying not to allow this parking lot to go up. Okay. Certainly not as a valet.
Got it. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm probably not going to pronounce a lot of these names correctly, so please excuse me. Zavin Kazazian.
Good morning. I'm Zavin Kazazian, 3113 Kingsbridge Way, Glendale, California. My emphasis is going to be mostly about the value of Phoenicia for the City of Glendale. City of Glendale needs businesses, as we all know, and it supports a substantial traffic that comes from around the state. People who come here, and then once they dine at Phoenicia, they end up going to the Americana, to the Galleria, Alex. And Phoenicia has been a great supporter for a number of nonprofits, including the Red Cross, YMCA, Salvation Army. It's a business that has earned its reputation as one that supports the community. And I would like to emphasize that, and the economic growth that supports the City of Glendale. So I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have on how the business is run, but it's one that the owner is very much involved with the community. So I support this project.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is it Bertie Dajambazian? I'm pretty far off on that one, I'm sure.
Very good, very good.
Okay.
Great. Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
I am Berj Jambazian, 1648 Don Carlos Avenue, Glendale. I'm a Presbyterian minister serving in this community for over 30 years and planted 3 churches in the city, as well as ministered over 10 years at Glendale Presbyterian Church located on Louise and Harvard. And most of our events, in fact, our board meetings and our youth gatherings, women's meetings, were held at Phoenicia because of the atmosphere, because of the services, because of the integrity of the owner of the restaurant. We felt very comfortable. In fact, I, myself, as a pastor, felt very comfortable to have our meetings there. And then it was our dream that to have our also events like baptism dinner or luncheon or memorial service luncheons, and then wedding after wedding gatherings. And so lately we have been facing this parking problem, because our events started growing from 100 to 200, sometimes even more, and we always unreservedly have chosen Phoenicia restaurant, and yet starting facing this parking problem. But even then, we are still committed to continue our events in that same restaurant for, again, the services, but as well as feeling at home in this restaurant. So personally, I would be so thrilled to see the restaurant having no problem pertaining to the parking lot, so that we can continue serving our community at large through Phoenicia restaurant. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Zavin Nessian? And next up after would be a Coco Balanian.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Zaven Hanesian, 1850 Summer Camp Place, Glendale. As architect mentioned about the parking lot, owner, he likes to improve the property, improve the parking lot, improve the restaurant. And he's willing to spend thousands of dollars to add more parking and nicer. And then there's a valet parking, which is every time I go there, and then I don't have any problem. I leave my car, and they take care of the parking. Now this one, additional 43 parking, which is excellent for the owner and for the neighbor, for the customer. Because anytime you go to any other restaurant, they don't have a parking, you parked on valet parking, and they take it even on Brent Boulevard, on Wilson, or any other places. But this one, owner spending thousands of dollars, as I mentioned. And I don't see any problem. And we like the restaurant, and we support the restaurant. And this is my request from board to approve this project.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coco Balanian. Next up is Sam Artunian. Good morning.
My name is Coco Bellion, and 12400 Horton Street, Studio City. I've known the owner, Ara, for many, many, many years. And I know, as the architect said, how he started with a small restaurant and he made it into big. And I see this project as an asset to the restaurant and to the neighborhood, where there was say about double parking this. I think this parking would ease all that tension. It would make it much easier of a flow of the cars on Lexington or on Central. So I really see an asset, this parking, to the restaurant. So I'm in favor of it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sam Artunian. Yeah, well, I mean, I'll call them everyone up because you guys filled out the speaker card. If you choose to not speak, then I'll leave that up to you guys. Okay. So Sam's not here at the moment, right? This one I'm having a hard time reading. Okay. Well, he's in favor, so we'll see if he wants to say. Is it R. Toxie Amstez? Okay. Sorry, I just had a hard time reading your writing.
I'm Araxi Amster. I live in 1926 Calafia Street in Glendale. And as everybody said, that empty lot is sitting right there. It doesn't even look nice. With the parking lot, I think we can utilize the parking, the space, and then everybody will be happy because there won't be any parking problem. Many times when I had to go to the restaurant, I had to go around the block several times because there is no parking. With that empty lot converted to parking lot, it will be a lot easier for every one of us. And the lot will look nice.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Suhala Hari?
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Suhaila Hariri, 1815 Orchard Avenue, apartment 102, Glendale, California. I've been in the restaurant business for so long, and the first thing is when somebody's trying to book a party, the first thing they ask, do you have a valet parking? Because they want their guests to be convenient when they come. And on Lexington and Central, it's very hard to find parking. If everybody wants to find a self-parking, we have the Galleria next to our restaurant. It's not easy to find a self-parking around the block. And the first thing they don't want their guests to come and feel inconvenienced for the restaurant. And as a growing restaurant, we need more parking space. But it's more convenient for us to have a valet parking as a huge population in the restaurant. I will support this project 100%. Thank you very much.
Jerry Hanassian?
Morning. My name is Jerry Hanassian. I'm a resident and do business in the city of Glendale and have gone many times to this wonderful restaurant, and I'm definitely in favor. It's great for my clients and for myself and family, so I'm definitely in favor for it.
Great, thank you. Ani Hanassian? Brenda Hakimian.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Brenda Hakimian, 110 North Cedar, apartment 7, Glendale, California. My husband is also an employee of this restaurant, and just to recap what everybody says, I've read in the headlines of the Glendale News Press how there are parking issues on Lexington Drive, how residents are complaining. This proposed law would solve so much of that it really needs to be approved, because I personally, I want to pick up my husband after he finishes a shift at work, and the restaurant is so crowded, the streets are packed, the valet parking is packed, there's nowhere to park, so I just end up going home, and if he ends up needing a ride, he'll call me, and then I'll have to make another trip. But this would save everybody so much time, effort, and I would imagine that, because of where it is, and, the city of Glendale would probably even benefit, and the residents would end up being happier too. So I'm definitely in favor of this.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Nova or Kachanian?
Good morning. My name is Nova Alapkhanian, 110 North Cedar. So we are here to approve this land to become valet parking. It was too hard to find parking over there. We are a popular restaurant, and we bring more neighborhood in Glendale and established restaurant, So our place to become this land parking.
Okay, great.
Thank you, sir.
Let's see here. Christina Karadazian? No, that's probably not right.
Good morning. I'm Christina Karabeta, real estate broker with Century 21 Magic 1024 East Colorado. So for all our business purposes, meetings and dinners, we are using Phoenicia Restaurant, and we're having guests for all of Los Angeles series. And for all of them, it's very important to have a valet parking because people are very busy with their job and they're having half in 1 hour for the business meeting. It's very important for them to have a valet parking. Also, the Phoenicia is very family-oriented restaurant, so my company and I supporting this project. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Armin Bajian?
My name is Armin Abajian. I'm a resident of 3290 Dazmi Road, Glendale, California. I've known Ara Kalfayan for the last 40 years, and our family, extended family, and my business friends, we all use the restaurant. And since the restaurant has improved with the valet parking, we like that valet parking idea, and we have never had problem anytime we pull into his parking lot. One point I would like to emphasize, like the previous speaker said, ARA has done a lot to the community of Glendale, helping various organizations. And one point I would like to make, every time I pick up the phone and I call ARA, I say I have a friend or a relative in college and he needs a job, part-time job, to support his college expenses. And ARA says, send him over. And I know several of these guys have become pharmacists, doctors, engineers, and thanks for his support. So I'm sure he will continue that type of attitude and support to the community, and we are in favor of having this valet parking placed in place.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Amira Asun.
Good morning. My name is Amir Assoum. I live at 347 West Garfield, Glendale. I've been working with Mr. Ara for 3 years, and I honestly speaking here, he's such a good man to the clients, to us, and to the neighbors. Unlike what the lady said behind me there, Mr. Ara comes to us as employees, and he begs us and talks nicely. He says, please, guys, don't park your cars on Lexington because I don't want to bother the neighbors. As far as the valet guys, they are very nice, hardworking people. We never noticed that they're jamming the roads or they're over double parking anywhere. I think this project is an excellent project for the restaurant and for the neighborhood. So we all support it. Thank you.
Thanks very much. David Manassian.
Morning, Mr. Krause.
Good morning.
I had to shake my head in disbelief at all these people painting a rosy picture of the owner and his business. But what they don't tell you is what we as residents have to go through. My name is David Manassian. I live on 353 West Lexington Drive. I've been a resident for 19 years. And ever since I moved that 19 years ago today, it was a peaceful and very quiet neighborhood up until the restaurant opened up. Actually, it's a nightclub. It's not a restaurant. And Ms. Hagobian called it a banquet hall, which is true, but I call it a nice nightclub because of the activities that go on there. Parking is a major problem, and traffic as well. Getting in and out of Lexington at night can be a hazard at times because of the number of cars that come and go through. But my beef really is with the noise of the restaurant. There's music, loud music that goes on past 12 up to 1 a.m. And this can be during the week, and it can be on weekdays as well. This owner has no regards or consideration towards the residents, because if he did, he would have been a little more considerate. I've called the police many times because of the loud noise. In fact, I called the city of Glendale a couple of years ago, trying to find out how this permit was issued to a nightclub, but they just kept passing me from department to department. And finally, after half an hour, they told me, "Oh, just call the police if the music is too loud." Well, that wasn't what I was looking for. In any case, this parking lot is not going to change anything at all. Nothing's going to change. People are still going to double park. Traffic is still going to be heavy on Lexington Drive. So I don't even know how this place was built. He added an extension last year or the year before without the proper permits, and this was in the Glendale Press. It was there was an article in the Glendale Press regarding that, and yet nothing was done about it, and still continues. So I don't see any change with this parking lot. It's still going to be a major problem. It's still, things are still going to continue the way they are. So I'm really in opposition to this parking lot.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So it looks like, the rest of the cards, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 more speakers. I can go through them all, or if anyone has anything else they want to add. These are all in favor of the project. Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm Garbis Davoyan. Excuse me for my not being fluent in English, but I want to express my feeling as a Glendale resident. First of all, I thank City of Glendale being helping this kind of commercial places to be competent with the Beverly Hills. We really feel proud of ourselves to go out of the border, touristic place. Why to object growing this kind of project in our city of Glendale? City of Glendale has trying to grow, to be more attractive to the places. Why we will take this only place and put objection? They are trying to, help Glendale being grower and being more attractive to the tourist and even our resident. Well, it is a very good standing restaurant. We enjoyed it, but the parking lot, they were having trouble because of short of places. That's right. And this parking lot extending, it can help many things, many things. There should be, of course, residents, they are objecting. Resident, I mean, in the neighborhood, close to the restaurant, they might be objecting, but it has nothing to do with that. This concern is a city concern. Not individual come front and object. Yes, the city will take care of them, everybody. But the most thing is our advancement in this kind of project, with touristic project, to compete with Beverly Hills. We can't stop them. This is my idea. I live on Kenneth Road, 835 West Kenneth Road. I've been 25 years in that location. And I'm proud that Glendale is advancing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks very much. Well, let me just, with the cards I have now, you have a, if you want to hand that, can you grab that? Okay. So let me just, I'll go through the names, and if you want to come forward, feel free. If you want to just wave that, yes, just let me know, all right? So I got Ani Simonian.
Can I start?
No, I just called Ani up. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ani Simonian, business owner in Glendale for the past 14 years in the mortgage business, as well as being a resident in the past 26 years. I support this project. As a matter of fact, this December we are holding a Children's Hospital nonprofit gala to support the Los Angeles Children's Hospital. The support I have received with the restaurant from ARA is significant to the amount of help he's given out and support. So therefore, for me, it's in favor because all of my clients come here. We do a lot of business together. I feel comfortable, very friendly. Dignity is very high for the restaurant. And most importantly, the restaurant is very giving in supporting nonprofits. And I am an example. December 4th, we are holding a Children's Hospital Gala. And I support this project because it's only going to help, as the individual said, the other cities that have been advanced over the years, such as Beverly Hills and other places, can be more exposed to know more about Glendale and expand and help Glendale expand. So I'm in favor for this project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ada Badalian?
Good morning. My name is Ida Badalian. I live at 1901 Ransom Road, Glendale. I'm definitely in favor of this project. I'm a customer patron of the restaurant for many, many years. And I just want to mention something very clearly, that this restaurant is very family-oriented restaurant. It has nothing to do with nightclub. It's not a nightclub. If all the customers over there are families. Yes, once in a while there are parties, private parties, gatherings, dancing, but that I don't think that qualifies to be a nightclub. And if I were living on Lexington Street, I would definitely more supportive of this project because it will solve lots of problems for them. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Hala Nassar. Good morning.
My name is Hala Nassar. I live in 1114 North Brand. Actually, I have been working with ARA over 5 years. We never have any problem. And if somebody talking about the traffic, if you go anywhere in Glendale, we have a traffic, not like in Lexington only. I support this project.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jakob Mardikian? Almost there. Good morning.
I'm the owner of Original Parking Services. We've been working with
Can I get your
restaurant.
name and address for the record, please?
Oh, Jakob Mardikian, 11321 Forensic Lane, Port Orange, California, 91326. We've been working, past 6 months, we've been working with Phoenicia Restaurant. And this parking lot, it will help us to provide better service for the customers, and it's very convenient for us. It's right across the street, and I don't think we're going to have any issues. We are a company who's been doing since 1998, licensed, bonded, and insured. So I support this project.
All right, Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hagab Baksamian. All right, so our last speaker then is George Shakisian. Probably got that last name wrong.
George Shashikian.
Okay.
13546 Sarah Street, Sherman Oaks, California, 91423. I'm the general manager of the company, valet company. The videos, everything that you've seen, it will eliminate everything that you noticed today. Double parking, the congestion, all that will be all eliminated. It'll be a different structure that we have going on. It'll be a totally different way of operating when the parking lots available to us. Everything that you noticed on the video will be all eliminated. It'll be more convenient for the customers to come through in and out more freely, less issues, less traffic, and I think it'll be good for all the city of Glendale and the community and the people around it, especially the residents. They will be all happy to notice a nice flow of traffic on Lexington. And I support it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. That's all the speaker cards we have at the moment. I mean, so at this moment, I have the applicant has, how much time do you guys get? 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Gross. I want to concentrate on some of the facts that opposition, two speakers had said. First of all, this is not a banquet hall. This is a restaurant by rights. If you watch the banquet hall operates on the weekends and at certain hours. And if you're referring to a nightclub is giggles, like they open like 8 o'clock and they close up 2 or 4 o'clock in the morning. This is a family-oriented restaurant. Yes, it does have a right to do private parties, or you can book it for certain parties over there, which is fine. It's by rights and by code. Now, the second thing to mention here, the restaurant is sitting on a commercial property. And the city of Glendale is in a growth. And a parking lot that we are trying to use, it has a P overlay zoning, which it could be a parking structure. Now, I'm very sorry for the residents that they live next door. But what about if they lived in the downtown area, either in Glendale or in downtown Los Angeles, where the restaurant is right down below? What are they going to say? I mean, this is the progress, and we're into the progress. And the city maps or zoning ordinances or rezoning the Glendale has went on in 1980s, not just yesterday. That this being zoned to be a DSP zone or parking overlay zone. So I think the parking that is a P overlay, and would be serving to this restaurant for the great purpose to valet it, and a valet is a convenience, and for every single restaurant like to have that, because the customers love to have a valet service. But if they want to park themselves, the valet is not there in the early hours, they can go ahead and park, which is close proximity to the restaurant. It's just in a walking distance, as you saw it in the videos. So I would say as a representative applicant, I think this is very important for us to have this adjacent parking lot, being part of the project. And ARA is going to spend a lot of money for the improvement, and improvement will make it very nice. So, if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer.
I did have questions. We've been hearing a lot of talk about valet service and all that kind of stuff, and how that functions or doesn't function well. Can you kind of explain a little bit what you guys are proposing to do in terms of your valet?
Well, I think the valet guy is here, but I had a brief talk with them. I think the valet would be dropping off on the existing parking lot, which is the part of the restaurant, and valet pickup and a drop off will happen right there. As you can see in Umbrella, that's where the station is, valet station is. Now, from there on, the cars will be taken to the across. If this parking lot is full, then the cars will be taken across on the opposite side through the alley to the parking lot, and would be parked over there. On the way back, there are a couple of ways of coming back. One is taking the alley to the north and making a right turn on Milford, making a right turn on a Central, and delivering the cars to the Lexington. So it's not going around the Lexington because that's a longer drive. Now, the alley is a service alley, and it abuts the commercial properties. So, traffic will be directed basically through the alley area. So the Lexington will not be impacted from that point on. That is my understanding, unless the Valley guy has...
Well, I don't know if he's available to kind of... I'm curious as to see how well that would work, because then we're still going to have people, the issue of people running across back and forth from the street, I guess, at that point.
Oh, you mean the Valley guys?
Yeah. Right, because if this lot's full, if the lot behind the building's full,
yes.
Now we're using the other lot, somehow they're going to have to get across the other side.
Yeah, there's a crosswalk at the corner of a Central and a Lexington, right there. It's just about, not even 50 feet away from the alley.
Are you willing to let your valet service guys speak on that, just to get an idea of how that functions?
What was the question again?
I'm trying to figure out, because right now, when the lot at the rear is full, because there's only 12 spaces in there, so I'd imagine that would fill up rather quickly. In terms of getting the valet cars across the street now, I mean, how do you see a good way for that to function? I mean, is it better to set up another station across the street?
Either we can do that, which will be a lot easier for the customers to come through, so they don't have to go across the street, the valet, or like you said, we could just drive around the block and deliver the cars through the street from Central to Lexington.
Okay, because I'd want to prevent cars from just running across the street, maybe cars shooting across.
Either or, we'll have man-based in both locations, so it'll be convenient for either way for it to happen. So when they pull up, it'll be a lot easier for us to take and deliver, and the drop off as well. If we need to, we will drop off through the alleyway, through Central, and come back through Lexington, so it doesn't cause too much traffic in between.
Currently, right now, all the drop off would occur on basically the south side of Lexington.
But since we get the new location, it'll be a lot more convenient to have two locations, two people over there in each location where they could pick up and drop off. It'll be a lot more convenient for the customers.
That's one little detail. I think you guys have a radio.
Yeah, we have radios.
Some of the staff is at the additional parking lot. The radio, if there's a car number 15 needs to be come to a parking lot, they'll radio the employee so to bring it over.
Well, that brings up the questions of the conditions of approval. I don't know if you guys take a look at those or not, but I think there's one in there that specifically restricts the use of radios.
In a personal radio, like a phone?
If I can make note of condition number 14, that if valet service is provided for restaurant patrons, the use of speaker systems and walkie-talkies in off-site parking lots is prohibited. Patrons shall remain at the restaurant site for delivery of their vehicles. And again, that was actually imposed in order to avoid noise.
That could be done. No problem.
Have you, in terms of the conditions, have you guys reviewed all of these?
I'm sorry?
Have you take a look at all the conditions? You guys?
Not really. I just basically concentrated on one or two of them. The rest was like... Any other question in there? I mean...
Well, I just want to make sure that if we were to impose these conditions, that's something that's going to work with your operation. If you have concerns over them,
we're all fine with that now, basically. Yeah. It's manageable.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all the questions I had at this moment. I see that our traffic and transportation staff's here. If they could,
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna ask a question of our traffic guys, just to see, if you guys can come forward and just in terms of what we just heard, in terms of how the valet services are planning on working that. If you guys think that might be something that's doable or not. Yeah, if you can.
Wayne, co-principal traffic engineer for City of Glendale. Now, so I'm trying to understand the valet operation. So the valet's pickup and drop off is going to on the south side of Lexington, in front of the restaurant.
That's my understanding.
Okay, so then once they pick up the vehicle, they're going to use the traffic signal at Lexington and Central, go up to Milford, and they come back down the alley and get into the parking lot. Mm-hmm. In the same way, when they retrieve the vehicle, they're going to come out of the alley and then make a left, and then also drop off the vehicle at the same zone. Right, and then I think that would work. That's a good circulation. The only thing is whether we have double parking is a matter of the valet operation. I think the valet operator has control over that, just not to release too many vehicles at one time, and that's something that can be monitored.
Okay. That's all the questions I had.
Okay.
Thank you. Does staff have anything else they want to add at this point?
I just want to also reiterate condition number 15 that the applicant or the valet service is provided. If it is, the valet plan shall be submitted for review and approval by the Traffic and Transportation Division. And once approved, the valet parking shall be maintained at all times. So again, the valet plan is reviewed by the Traffic and Transportation Division, not by the planning staff.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's all I had for today. So at this point, I'm going to take the case under submission. And at this point, I'm going to close the public hearing. Thank you very much.